Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of FinanceFeeds Podcast. My name is Nikolai Isayev. I'm Editor-in-Chief of FinanceFeeds. Joining me today on the show is Sonata Naujokaitė. I think I pronounced that correctly, right?
Perfectly said.
Sonata is an expert in expos and events in our broader, let's say, Forex and CFD industry. I think a lot of our viewers know Sonata from their own professional collaborations and have seen Sonata at many different events. Sonata, welcome to our show. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So I wanted to start off and say that you have a lot of experience in our industry, and I think both from the sell side and the buy side of things. And specifically when it comes to industry events, planning, executing on conferences, and all of these different things. Can you tell our viewers a little bit about your professional journey and how it's shaped your background so far?
Yes, of course. So, since the beginning of my career, I was mostly involved in like startups life because it's lots of action. It's like where I was always drawn to. Mm-hmm. But it was one way or another also connected to branding, project management, communication. So I think at some point it was like quite natural that it led to events. And I think the turning point, the biggest turning point was when I joined the Reflect Festival in 2018. Mm-hmm. So back then, I felt like I was following their team, following their job from before, because I found them really like driven and, passionate. And I thought like, oh, that would be really nice, to get in and to do something together. So after some trying, they invited me to volunteer for the first Reflect Festival in 2018, which was like 300 event people, super boutique festival, conference at that point. Uh-huh. So I did there, we worked together, and it was so nice. It was like really, really nice. So the next year, they invited me to join their team and work with them. And that was the year when together with the team, we scaled Reflect Festival 5 times. So from this 300 attendees to 1,500 in like, I would say a year, but that was, months actually of preparation. And so we were involved in like everything, you just get whatever you can. And this is just like really, really motivates me a lot. So I was involved from like creating the registration flow to working closely with designers or on promotional materials to reaching out to media, very broad spectrum. Uh-huh. But after we managed to make it, and it was such a pleasure for me. I felt like, wow, that's what I want to be, and that's what I want to do. Mm-hmm. So this was, I was still like on sell side. Yeah. I made a move. That was also a big event. But that time, I moved to financial industry, and that's where it started. My career in financial industry. Because then at that time, I joined the IFX Expo. So I worked there for 2 years as in production. So for me, that was like a really, really great experience because, you see behind the scenes how these huge expos are actually built. Uh-huh. And, and they had the proper structure, how to do it. So from operations to how you build the sponsorship packages to how you manage the clients, everything. So this was really a really, really important part of my professional life because it set the very good base, let's say. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that was sell side. And later on, I was invited to work for one German neo-broker here in Cyprus again. And so I was the first hire. I helped them to set up Cyprus team. So we built the team together here. And I led the communication and events there. There, now when I look back, and compare the positions I had, so there we took events a bit slightly different. We were going to many expos in Europe. Like every month we were somewhere else. So strategically picking up which expos to go, and time to times making like a big sponsorship. Like once we did the IFX Expo night party, we gave away a Rolex. The branding was everywhere, and it worked so well.
Interesting.
So yeah, it was really like a really good experience as well. And so for more than 2 last years, I was working as a head of events at one technology provider with 3 brands. This was different approach because we were going to the expos. So I was responsible for expos, and we were exhibiting at like from 15 to 17 expos per year with not one brand very often, but 2 or 3. So that means work is like double or triple.
Sure.
Plus, I was also making clients events. So lately we were doing one event in Cyprus, one event in Dubai. And there were many other things what was always coming my way, let's say. So again, the same word that it was lots of action. And seriously, at some point I felt like I live from deadline to deadline to deadline to deadline. But I just managed to make my own system, like how it works, because it's my personality, I think. I need to deliver, if I have a deadline, I need to make sure that it's happening.
Sure.
So during all this like time, I really made how it can work, even with so many different, people, companies, suppliers, and make it still work. And even being in this intense place, I still felt like, oh, I like it. It's like, it's my thing, this role is for me. So yeah, it wasn't really brief, but that's my background review.
And you mentioned Reflect Festival. I attended Reflect Festival a few months ago here in Limassol, but I take it that Reflect back in 2018 was a bit of a different conference in the sense that the companies or the attendees that it attracted, or was it more like real estate focused or something else?
It was more on innovations and technology as well. But I would say innovations was a thing, because we had the speaker of the first flying car, these things which you usually just, especially back then, you usually used to just hear or see on the somewhere TV.
Sure.
It was like here in Limassol, and and for the next year we brought the Robot Sophia. So I think the whole Cyprus kind of heard about that event, even if they didn't know exactly the festival at that time.
Yeah,
they knew that something was going on with these technologies. Yeah.
And what led you to take the next step and to join IFX Expo after that? I'm just curious.
I don't know, just like life happened, I believe, and there was a change. But in a very nice, I still, I'm still in touch with everyone, the doers now, by the way. Yeah.
Right. Yep.
So yeah, I still like have just the best memories and the best comments.
You mentioned in talking about your background, some of your latest experience in working for a technology provider and really coordinating all these different events and conferences around the world.
Yeah.
I guess I wanted to ask, and you know this probably better than anyone in our industry, as things get more and more complicated from an event planning and really execution perspective, because you can plan a lot of things, but it's really, like you also mentioned, it's about executing. And a lot of these events and conferences, they have deadlines. You have to submit your booth designs by a certain day, and all of these other materials and information. What are some of the common challenges that maybe you experienced yourself or had to overcome as someone who's in charge of events at companies? But I guess maybe you have a perspective from both sides, right? You worked for a company that hosted actual events, but then also managed all of these different conferences in-house for a particular company. Like, what are the biggest challenges today? Because to me, it seems like it's I don't even know where to start, you know?
Yes. Yes, I know what you mean. Because from the first glance, it seems really easy to handle the expo, but it's like really lots of things. And yeah, now companies are attending way more events. So, by the way, just want to note that this year, not this year, but like starting from now and going on, like the events industry, global events industry is projected to grow nearly double by 2032 and reach over $2.1 trillion.
Wow.
And even in the short term, so the recent UK marketing study shows that events budgets are projected to grow more than any other marketing channel, and with a net increase of 16.6% for 2025-2026. So imagine, lots of things going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and about those challenges, lately I've been talking with so many financial brands, and you would be surprised how many times I heard that expos are coordinated by HR, operations, or whoever has time. That's what kind of the message I get. And in no way I'm saying that these people, are not doing their job.
Yeah.
I'm sure they are. But the issue I see here is like if there is no one responsible from planning to booking to coordinating to actual follow-up what happened, it's really hard to see if the investment made sense, like if it really worked. Also, very recently, there were a study on another financial media website that 40% of retail brokerages CMO don't stay longer in their position, not longer than 1 year.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah. So it was like, wow, 40%. And on the time when they were making the study, so there was no CMO in place since the last one left.
Sure.
So what I see the gap here is like, you give things to do to different people in the team. There is no one to, not always, of course, but time to time, they are left without someone reviewing the whole situation. And then, we are just losing a lot. And the big problem here is that events are expensive.
Yes.
So if it's not managed properly, it's not only about the stress, which we get a lot, but it's not about that. It's not about the last minute chaos, but it's about the waste of sponsorship benefits. It's about waste of leads. It's about waste of exposure, which we already paid for.
Yeah,
I
that's true.
think this is the main gap which I'm seeing.
Would you say then that, just simply signing up to participate in a conference or expo and paying an X amount of euros or dollars to participate in it is just the beginning, and it's about how you execute on all the different items in your strategy and in your preparation for that conference?
Yes.
Because I will tell you, in my many years of experience of attending events, I've seen conferences where there's a booth, it was branded as a particular company, and for 2 days during the event, there's nobody there. Like there's nobody there physically. There's no promotional materials. There's absolutely nothing there. It's just a booth. It's empty, and it just has branding on it. And when I looked at something like that, or when I saw something like that, in my mind, I'm like, oh, well, somebody messed up, right? I mean, someone paid for this booth. It's branded. but something happened and essentially the company couldn't physically attend. And so, I mean, good luck asking for a refund, right? For the money that you paid for the booth itself. It seems like there's a lot of things that need to be executed for the conference attendance, let's say, or participation to be successful, right?
Yes, it's so many things. And sometimes, it really depends on how big you are going into the expo.
Yeah.
So if it's just a small booth and you are working closely with your marketing and sales team, then it's not such an issue. But if even if a company has different teams for each, but if they don't communicate, so maybe sales doesn't even know what marketing put on the walls that as a main message for this specific expo, because it's not that easy that I have a company that is like a trading platform and we always just put trading platform name on it, because there is always even slight message that needs to be maybe adapted for that specific maybe region, maybe so it's lots of details. And of course it's really easy to say that the communication in the team is the key. It is really a key, but but sometimes people don't even pay attention that it's important. That's what I think I try to highlight.
Do you think it's because of inexperience? Because like you said, sometimes a company will hand off this work to someone who, like you said, has time, or someone who doesn't necessarily maybe have experience in anything like this before, and it's difficult for a person like that to sit down, look at all of this. And,
and you get those sheets of explanation what to prepare, and you are like,
I'd see, like if I was inexperienced in that, I would have probably some anxiety and some stress over, oh my God, this is, I thought we were just going to pay for a booth and people were going to fly there and stand there and talk to people, but it's a lot more than that. Right?
yes. So it's lots of things.
And you mentioned, companies attending. Well, first off, you mentioned in terms of market statistics and projections that global events are going to nearly double in size in terms of revenue and the amount of events that take place. It seems a bit strange to me because we had COVID, we had everything remote. Now we're kind of, people are back in the offices, but some people aren't, And it's kind of like, well, we have AI and we're so interconnected with our devices and Zoom and Teams and however many other video conferencing services there are out there. But it seems like in-person events are still very much in demand, even let's say in the financial space where you and I both are.
And to be honest, just recently I read a really big research on the expos itself, and so the number one reason why retail attendees are attending expos is for trust. So you can see it one way or another.
I see.
But if we never saw you somewhere actually where they can come, they can test your maybe products or just speak to you and understand that, okay, you're actually valid company. Because again, as you just said, everything online now, you need to double, triple check because it can be easily made by AI.
It's true. Yeah, there's so many scams out there for everything.
So from what I read, this demand of events is for exactly those reasons what you said. The first was COVID. Now that everything is online and people just crave for this human connection, and it's about everything. Then it builds trust. So it's not only about the friendly relationship, but business as well, because you do business with people you trust.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think there's more work that goes into events or conferences that are geared towards retail investors than it is for conferences that are maybe more just fintech oriented, where it's a lot of SaaS companies, it's a lot of sell-side companies, and it's the buy-side walking around and exploring, kind of opportunities?
Lately, I talk with different organizers, and I hear that you can still find both options, but it seems like they are heading towards more retail on the ground. So yeah, it seems like it's a slight change. Even the last few years, we see that more expos like merging. It's not purely B2B, not always, but it's more and more open up for
B2C.
Yeah.
I feel like if we're talking about regions like Asia or Middle East, it's also localization, maybe,
Yes.
right? Because
LATAM.
or LATAM, right? I mean, so if it's a retail-oriented event, the companies need to also make sure a lot of their materials are in the local language, right? Or languages, right?
Yes.
To make it more worthwhile, right? For the attendees and for the event to pay off in a sense, right?
True. Yeah, and maybe your team doesn't speak the language. Maybe you don't have the office there, so that means but you want that market, so you need to find a way how to stand out. You need to find who will be at your booth, who can actually, explain what you are selling. So yeah, different things that's needed to organize.
So your new service, and I think we could say new service, right?
Yeah,
Sonata,
it's super fresh.
Sonata can help you. Sonata can help you. So you and I, we had a discussion before our podcast recording, and your new service to me looks very valuable for companies that, like you said before, they might not have an in-house person or team that's dedicated to again signing up for, planning and executing, attending expos, conferences, whatever we want to call it. And does that mean that companies can sort of outsource a lot of their logistics and what I would call busy work that comes with events to you? And can't your service also help companies that actually are larger and actually may have one person or several people on the team? It's just they have a lot of different events going on year round that you could also help or consult in some way?
Yes. So the answer is yes to both of your questions. And so I can help with coordinating the expo as a service for the teams that doesn't have any in-house team or they don't have dedicated team. And to be honest, like I wasn't even like promoting my services yet, but I already had several calls with companies who never exhibited at the expo and they want to prepare well. So I feel there's a need. What I can also do is to map out the expo calendar for the upcoming year and to book it on time. Because what I hear that companies sometimes miss the opportunity even to exhibit because it's fully booked. Or if that's not the case, then they might get pretty bad location, which we know that then the exposure is not maybe the greatest, and then the results might be also influenced by that. So that's the service I could offer as well. And for the bigger firms, the most important is to review the whole current process, how the expos are handled, who are actually involved. So from booking, to coordinating, and if someone is looking back, what had happened, and if that made any, that brought any value. And also, so sometimes, big teams can be doing pretty well, but they feel that something somewhere doesn't work. So that's my goal here, to just like identify those gaps and to give them the tailored suggestions how to improve that. Because, it can be different cases. Maybe the team is overloaded because they also have 20 expos on there, but they still miss deadlines. So I have templates that I can share so they know like what to focus, what to prepare in advance, even if it doesn't look as a priority at the first look, Or I can share best practices. I can help with contacts, organizers, suppliers all over. We've been to expos all over the world. And if there is a need, I can also be on the expo floor with a team. So that's the expos. And I was doing the clients event. So I would be happy if someone wants to make the nice event for the clients. That's what I like to do as well.
You mentioned that some companies actually miss out on even booking
Yes, I heard
events.
that.
Is that because just they saw it too late, or
Yeah. I mean, if you don't keep it as your priority that this is the expo we're gonna go, so you are just in your busy daily life routine, and that's not in your minds at all. And then you're like, oh, everyone's start posting that I'm attending this and this expo, and like, oh, we didn't book anything, and then it's a bit too late, and this happens. And then there are sometimes waiting lists to get on the expo floor as an exhibitor. So so that's a thing. Sometimes just reaching out, sometimes just getting the booth on time
itself
does
is
a good job.
Yeah. And in terms of logistics, you mentioned you've handled conferences in many different places around the world. A lot of event organizers, they have what I would say is like standardized booths.
Yeah.
But then some companies come and arrange something and build something very elaborate.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that's called like a custom setup or a custom booth.
Custom booth, yeah.
Is that something that you as a participant need to worry about separately and focus on separately? Meaning like you have to work out a design of that custom booth and work out the branding and also the actual physical creation of it? Or is that something that you coordinate with the event organizer, or it depends? Different countries, different events are different. Like, how does that work?
It depends, because it depends on the expo organizers, and it depends on their like sales strategy, because some of the expos might be selling only the place. So you just buy, let's say, 5 meters on 6 meters place. That's it. You take it from there. That means, of course, they always give you suggestions, recommendations, but you still need to know. So in that case, you do need to find another supplier to make sure that they are actually valid company. Okay, if it came through good recommendations from trustworthy persons. And then you need to communicate with them to explain what you want. You send all your brand guidelines. They will give you some examples, templates. If you like it, it's great. If you not like it, it's again the whole process that you need to. So in this case, there's lots of things to handle, especially if you have very a vision that how you want to be seen. And again, different suppliers, some of them they might get your idea straight away and the first try, and the others might be more difficult. And and other organizers, they do have the standard booth. They are bigger, different sizes, but so you just submit the designs. Just submit the designs. So
it's true. That's what I do. I just submit the designs.
Yeah, but if it's small booth, that's fine. But the more you get involved in that, the bigger sponsorship you get, or the bigger booth you get, it comes with lots of sponsorship benefits. It might be an article on on some financial media websites that you need to prepare. It might be like some hanging banner, which is extra, or any other lots of extras that you also. Plus, when there is lots of people, maybe it's 12 of your people on the expo floor or 20. So all of them needs a registration. All of them needs to know what's going on, when the lunch, when the from smallest details to. So the bigger sponsorship or booth is, the more little details comes,
and more work involved. More work involved, more deadlines, and things like that,
and more people involved.
Right.
Even from the organizers team, they have different teams handling different things, and all of them come to you for. And if you handle 15, 17 expos per year, that means you don't work on that one expo.
Yeah.
No, you work on at least 4 all the time, like
Constantly.
Yeah. So one ended, great. The next one adds up. Yeah.
And if you are doing curated events, like let's say for your existing customers or for potential partners locally somewhere, let's say here in Cyprus, that's all on you, right? I mean, that you're creating that from scratch. I mean, you book a venue, but then everything else is on you. What kind of food, if there's catering,
but then it depends.
all kinds of promotional materials, whatever, right? Music, you name it, right?
Yes, but it again depends on the needs of the client, because how big they want to be there, like how much branding they want to see there, how much into details they are, but yes, that's exactly what I would take care of.
Interesting. Can I throw out a very quick question about, like, let's say you want to do a curated event in Limassol as a fintech company and you want to have 50 guests.
Yeah.
How much lead time do you need?
You can try.
But how much lead time, and like, let's say in your professional opinion, would you need to execute properly on an event like that? So in other words, to manage people's expectations. I'm not like, if I call you and say, Sonata, I want to basically host 50 guests in a venue in Limassol in 2 weeks. And I want it branded, and I want this, and I want someone playing nice music and things like that. That's unrealistic, right?
2 weeks, in my mind is like
that's that's unrealistic, right?
Well, because there's lots of things. Maybe the venue, first you start from booking the venue. Maybe the venue is sold out, so then that's it, your plans is gone.
But like a few months?
Few months is the best. 50,
sure.
it seems, it's not so many people, but sometimes it's not about if it's 50 or it's 150 attendees, because the main focus on booking the venue, taking care of food, the drinks, the branding, it still takes the same time. If it's for 10, okay, if it's super, super small without any branding, then it's a different story. But if you want a branded event, it for sure needs to take few months. Especially if that's not the only thing you are handling.
Yes.
So I would say a few months for sure. 2 weeks is, unless zero branding, just booking the table and paying after, by card. Then.
Makes sense. Well, speaking of curated events, you actually have something interesting coming up that you're hosting in September here in Limassol, I think.
Yes, correct.
And it's at a nice location, but I'll let you announce it later, not here on the podcast. I was going to ask you, can you tell us a little bit more about this event without maybe going into details, and what you hope will come from these sort of what I would call close-knit discussions that are gonna kind of happen at this gathering?
So I'm really excited actually about this one. So I'm hosting a very little event for people who work in financial or gaming companies, and they coordinate the expos. So, because I had this in my mind for a while, and I always thought that these people are often behind the scenes, handling so much with a super like strict deadlines and lots of pressure, and still often overlooked. So I want to create the space, even this meeting, like this event, I want them to just meet, share their experiences, to discuss what difficulties they have, and just to be with people who just gets it, because they just do the same, and they don't think it's like, oh, it's just booking a booth,
Sure,
but they're like, oh, you too. So I just want for us to gather and to just feel that everyone understands each other. And the feedback now is great, really. Everyone I invited said yes, except a few people who had really valid reasons that they cannot join.
Okay.
So I even have few people coming from abroad for this 2 hours event. I thought when I started, I thought let's meet. It would be nice, but I get the the feeling that people really into this, and they want this to happen. So and I really hope that this is not gonna be just one-time event, but it will hopefully grow to even community, where we could help each other. And even you mentioned those little things that like brochures didn't arrive in Mexico and you need to solve it now.
Yeah.
So I think having this circle is quite nice, and you know that you have someone's back, and for that. But I also think that these people hold lots of knowledge
Yes.
in
Yes.
this, and I think by discussing what's going on, we can find maybe the issues that all of us face, and maybe we can take it from there and then discuss it with expo organizers. Maybe we can change the something, even slight change, but maybe we could help to improve the expo experience for our companies, basically. So that is the aim. Let's see where it goes. But
it seems really cool. There's a lot of, I would say, teams within companies that are, let's say, underappreciated. Sort of. They do a lot of things behind the scenes. They're never public in a sense, but they are nonetheless important to the different parts of running a business, especially when it's companies that are attending many, many different events and expos, like the experience that you had previously. I mean, to coordinate all of it and to execute it properly seems very, very difficult to me. As a person who procrastinates, can be lazy at times. You know what I mean? Like having to understand that the event is taking place, let's say, in 6 months' time, but there's so many things that have their own separate deadlines. Let's say things that need to be done by those deadlines, and if you miss them, then you have a real issue.
And that's the thing. It's not those deadlines, not that type of deadlines that you can push because maybe I will do it a bit later. Usually those deadlines, if you don't deliver by this day, that means something won't be delivered and your team won't have it. So,
And again, this is obviously something to discuss in these small knit groups and maybe not here on the podcast, but I'm sure you have suggestions that you could give to, let's say, a client who can call you and speak to you and say, I have an issue. Mexico or Costa Rica, whatever, right? This happened or this didn't happen, and I need to figure something out. Like, what do I do, right? Am I completely alone here and there's nothing else that can be done? Or there is some sort of other vendor that could be found locally that can do something very, very quickly. You know what I mean? Maybe for twice the cost, but can do it and execute it for you, right?
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, sometimes there are so many new expos and events happening. Sometimes you need to do a really proper research to understand if this new upcoming expo is an actual valid expo, because it's somewhere in the end of the world, and so even these. Just sharing that if someone been there already, it can help a lot to companies.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually just remembered a personal story here in Cyprus. It was like a personal thing where I needed to get buy a cake. Well, I had to get it made. It's not just a cake that you go and buy in a store. It's like a special kind of multi-layer cake, sort of like the things that people serve at weddings. And so I think basically the deadline was it had to be done the next day by a certain time, but it was 8 o'clock in the evening or 9 o'clock in the evening when I started, when the task was presented to me, let's say, right? And I was like, okay, what kind of bakeries are there? Obviously there's Sigmas and there's Zorbas, there's all these different bakeries that are common here, but they don't sell anything like that. And they all told me, you're crazy. Like if you want it, let's say the next day. But I just basically Googled other bakeries, like mom and pop, sort of local places. And at the last minute, I had a store or a bakery wait for me, not close their doors, wait for me so I can come there, explain the situation of what I needed. But I got lucky in the sense that I found a place that, was like, okay, we understand what you need. Yes, it takes us a few days to do this, but this is how much it's going to cost if you need it by tomorrow. And they did it. and they helped. But it seems like event planning is
exactly this.
is something like that, right? It's something
All
like
the time.
Is it something like that, right? It's something like that, right?
If everything went right, that means no, wait for it.
Sure.
It's still something coming.
Sure. But it's right. I mean, it's kind of like, oh, what, tomorrow? No, you're crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, but I prefer to be prepared in in advance.
Yes.
So then I feel that's why I can handle it. If everything would come like this, it's sometimes.
Yes. Yeah. So if you procrastinate and are lazy like me, call Sonata. She'll help you. She'll help. My last question usually on our shows is a bit more personal and maybe a little bit humorous. I wanted to say that now that you're, let's say, a free bird in a sense, you're doing your own thing. Do you plan to stay in Cyprus, or do you plan to move elsewhere? Is life taking you somewhere else, or do you like living here? Going to continue living on our lovely island?
Yes. I call it's my island. I love it for so many years. I've been here so many years and I really feel good. So I'm definitely staying here. What I'm just thinking that now I am more free to travel more to the expos and events, and also to see my family and my friends who are not here. So this freedom really motivates me. So even I have few events booked this year. Most of them are for event pros. And I'm super excited that I'll be going there finally, because it was, always so much job to do and there is no time, or the priorities are different. So now I'll be going to those events, and I really now I see that finally I have the opportunity to do, those things which I really wanted before. And because those expos can be so beneficial and, especially for the event people.
Yes.
So I really hope I will bring, new ideas, technologies there. Yeah. So what could improve my projects, and then what could, help my clients. Yeah. So that's the plan.
Great. Awesome. Well, thanks for taking the time to join us today on this very hot afternoon here in Limassol. Sonata, good luck with your event in early September, and we wish you the best of luck with your new ventures. And we'll see you at more events.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was really a pleasure. Thanks for having me, and see you at the event.
Sure. See you at an expo. See you at an expo soon.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sonata.
Thank you.